Do you have any thoughts on the US CHIPS Act somehow shoring up a homegrown semiconductor industry, but maybe even specifically this kind of strange hybrid of state capitalism that seems to be looked at the moment?
It turns out chips are really important. Like so many things we use in our daily lives depend on chips. Almost all of those chips are made not in America, not in the UK. Most of them actually in Taiwan, some of them in South Korea, some of them in Singapore. And so it's actually very challenging if you want to have a supply chain, if you want to be able to get all the stuff you need to make a thing within your own country. You basically need to have investment in an incredible number of different kinds of manufacturing. And mostly the developed West has moved away from those kinds of manufacturing happening in our countries. Sometimes because of cost of labor, sometimes because of lack of expertise. So the idea that one might try and reverse the flow and say, wait a minute, let's make some chips closer to home, that on the face of it is a great idea. It's really easy to say. Turns out it's pretty difficult to do. The factories that make chips, called Foundries, cost tens of billions to build, and it takes years to build them. So you have to have started a long time ago if you want to have chips now. And America has been quite successful, actually, in incentivizing the building of chip foundries in the US. Several of them are now live in Arizona. There have been some for a while in California. Intel famously, makes its own chips inside the US. But a lot of the industry had moved to Asia in the past few decades, and trying to change that is a difficult thing, which requires you to put money on the table to give people a reason to change their minds. So that's what the Americans have tried to do. And in this country, we had a review, in fact, in the last few years, of something called the National Semiconductor Strategy. It says, how shall we deal with making the chips that we need available in the UK? And the very short version is, we're not going to try and compete with these giants of the chip industry in Asia.